Hello guys, today we are going to be learning how to rig a ball, and we're going to use the default cube. We're not going to delete this, we're just going to hit Control 1 on our keyboard. That adds a subdivision level 1 to our cube, and we're going to add a cast modifier. We're going to push this level to 1. We're going to increase the subdivision levels to 3, and now we have a perfect sphere, and we can apply the subdivision modifier, and we can apply the cast modifier. Right click, shade smooth, and now we have our ball. Basically, let us move it up a little bit, and we are going to add a single bone into the scene by hitting shift A. If you missed that, to add a bone into the scene, you hit shift A, armature single bone, and we have our bone here, but we cannot see it. So let us go to the armature data, or the object data properties, and let's go to the viewport display, and let's turn on in front, and we can see our armature. We can see our bone, the bone that we just added into the scene. And what we're going to do is we're going to name our sphere, and we're going to name this ball, and let us rename the armature to ball, or let us call it ball meta rig, because we are going to use Rigify to kind of create the custom shapes. We do not have to do that manually, or maybe for the purpose of maybe simplifying things. If you have a cheaper way to do it, just use the cheaper way instead of complicating things by adding the custom shapes manually. And I am going to show you how to use Rigify to rig a ball, and you can basically apply this knowledge in everything. You can use Rigify to rig anything that you put your hands on. You can use Rigify to rig that. And let us go into edit mode, and let us scale. And if you realize that you're scaling the bone from the center, what you want to do is you want to go to the pivot, transform pivot here, and let us change it from median point to active element. Median point to active element, and now it is going to scale from the head. And let us now scale it up like so, to ensure the tail of the bone is touching the top of the ball. And now that we have that, we're going to add another subdivision surface modifier by hitting Control 1 on our keyboard. And let me actually turn on my screencast keys, so that you can basically see what buttons I am pressing. Okay, now that our screencast keys are working, you can basically see the keys that I'm pressing in this corner. And now let us do something with ball meta rig. So we're going to select our ball, and then shift select the armature, or the ball meta rig as we called it, and Control P, and parent with automatic weights like so. And if you select the armature right now, and head into post mode by hitting Control Tab on your keyboard, you can also change the from object mode to post mode by using this small panel here. Let us switch to post mode, and if we happen to move this bone around, we can see that it moves with the bone now, and we can scale it down. Basically, we can scale it up, we can rotate the ball, we can basically do everything to this ball. And we are not done yet. That is not the end. So let us go back to edit mode, and let us rename this bone to, let us call it ball um, hmm, how do we call it? Let us call it ball squash. Let us call it ball squash, and let us select the tail of the bone and hit E to extrude. Hit Z on your keyboard to lock it along the Z axis, and then extrude along the Z axis like so. And if we go into edit mode by hitting Control Tab on your keyboard, you can basically see that we just extruded this bone, but it still isn't doing anything. So let us go back to edit mode and let us hit Alt P to unparent it. And after hitting Alt P like so, let us go back into post mode. Select the bone, the ball squish dot zero, the bone they just duplicated. Let us actually rename this bone to ball squish top. Let us rename it as so, and let us select the ball squish top, and then shift select the ball squish, and then hit Control Shift C on your keyboard, and you're going to have this menu pop up. And what I want you to do is select the stretch to constraint. Select the stretch to constraint, and now if we move this bone like so, you can see that this bone is stretching to this bone. And basically, that is what is happening. And some people might assume that we are done, but we are not yet done. Let us go back into edit mode. Select the head of the bone, of the ball squash bone, hit E to extrude, hit Z to lock it along the Z axis, and then extrude downwards. Select it, name it ball squash bottom or bot, ball squash bot. And what you want to do with this bone is you want to select the ball squish, and you want to go back to edit mode, hit Ctrl P to parent it with keep offset like so. And now if you go back to post mode and if you try moving this bone around, you can see that it now moves this bone like so, and you have these two bones to move this. And now we want to add another bone to this setup. Our setup is not yet complete. We want to add another bone so that you can move the whole ball around, because as it stands you have to select these two bones to move the ball around, and it is not that convenient. Let us actually change the transform pivot mode back to median point, and we can actually rotate it like so. And this is not yet convenient. We have to actually add another bone in our setup, and we're going to select the ball, select our ball, and we're going to go into edit mode, hit Shift S, hold Shift S on your keyboard, and you'll have this menu pop up. Select cursor to selected like so. And with that done, we're going to go back and select the meta rig, go into edit mode, add a new bone into the scene like so, and we now have this new small bone here. And now what we need to do is we need to parent this bone, the ball squish top and the ball squish bottom, to this new bone that we just added into the scene, and we have to parent it by keep offset like so. And if we go back to edit mode, into post mode, you can now use this bone to rotate the ball. And for some reason our ball is not round, and so let us add a cast modifier to ensure that our ball is round, and let us take this to 1, and let us apply the subdivision surface modifier and the cast modifier. And now if we select the bone you can see that now our ball is perfectly round. Let us turn on wireframe mode by going to the overlay section and turn on wireframe mode. You can pause this video or slow it down if you think that I am going too fast. And now if we try to rotate the ball like so, you can see that the ball is perfectly spherical. And now that we have that achieved, let us see if there's something else we can add into the scene. We have the ball squish top, the ball squish bottom, and our setup is almost complete as it is, but we need custom shapes. We need custom shapes in our setup, and so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the bond property section. Before we do that, actually, let us assign bone collections to our rig by going to the object data properties. If you're using an earlier version of Blender, you have bone layers, which means you can basically skip this process, or you can use the bone layers to kind of assign different bones to different bone layers as you would see fit. And so in our case here, we are on Blender 4.1, and so we are going to add custom bone collections to our rig by let us actually rename this. There's one here, and instead of deleting it, let us rename it to ball primary, and then let us rename this to ball secondary. And so what this will do is we are going to assign the top squish and the bottom squish to the ball secondary, and we are done. We're basically done at this point with the bone collections, and let us now go to the bone property section. Go to the Rigify type, and in the rig type I want you to select the super copy, the basic super copy, like so. And you want to select the cube like so, and you want to go to we've done that to the squish top, and you're going to do the same to the squish bottom. Go to the Rigify, super copy, select super copy, and then select in the widget section, select the cube like so. And once you're done with that, we can select this bone. Let us actually rename this to ball root. Let us actually, or maybe ball main. Let us call it ball main. You can call it whatever you want. You can even call it ball, it doesn't matter. And let us assign it a super copy. Actually, we made a mistake. This should be the only super copy bone in this setup. So we're going to rectify that, but you do not need to change it from super copy to anything else. Let us actually turn off this option here. So let us select the ball main bone, and turn off deform. Select the ball squish, turn off deform, and then select the ball squish bot and turn off deform. So you can ensure that the setup won't add deform bones once we hit generate in Rigify. And now select the ball squish and let us add a super copy. And because the ball squish has this ball squish, it has a constraint. This is a constraint, the stretch to constraint. So you want to ensure that real link constraints is turned on, and you don't need to do anything else, and you need to turn off control because we do not want any controls to this ball basically. And once you have that out of the way, you can basically go to the object data properties. So you can now set up the Rigify settings. Let us call our ball, our rig, ball rig, and let us go to the ball collection UI. If you are on an earlier setup of Blender, you can skip this part. If you're on Blender, that is if you're on Blender 3, if you're on Blender 3 going down, you can skip this process. But if you're on Blender 4 going up, follow me as we navigate this process. And what you're going to basically do is you're going to add standard in the color set sections. Add standard, and you're going to have this default Rigify color sets added into your color set section. And what we want to do is we want to assign the bone primary. We want to select the special in the bone primary, and in the bone secondary you want to select FK, or you can select any color that you see fit here. I am just going to select FK because I think green is good for this. You can actually rename the color sets to kind of match the the bone collections. You can actually rename this to ball secondary, and you can rename this to, you can rename the special to ball primary, like so. And it is basically going to apply the changes here. And after you're done, you're going to come and assign the bone collections into the rig UI layout, so that once the once the rig is generated, you will have a rig layout with the rig layers, so that you can turn off and turn on basically various parts of the rig. And we're going to select the ball primary, and let us click the assign button here like so. And let us select the ball secondary, and let us hit the assign button like so. And we're basically done. We can go up here and let us hit generate, and voila, you now have your rig. And let us actually check in front so that we can see our rig through objects. And you can basically now hide the ball meta rig like so. And now with that we have our ball selected in the vertex group sections, so that this ball can work with the rig that we just generated. You want to rename the vertex group, it's only one, so it is not a lot of work. And so what you want to do is you want to rename this to, you want to add D, E, F, and rename this, rename as I've done on my vertex groups, my vertex group. And after you do that, you're done. You can basically go to the modifiers here, and you can uh, remove that. And let us now assign this portion here to the ball rig, the rig that we just generated. And now let us actually parent this ball to the ball rig that we just generated, and let us parent it with armature deform. We do not need to do anything special with that. And if you select the ball rig and move it, it will move with the ball. And if you go into post mode, you can actually see that you can use these bones, the ball squish top to squish it down like so. You can use this one to move it around. You can rotate it like so. You can squish it and rotate it, squish it, and so. And we practically have a ball rig, like so. And you can actually, if you want to make any changes to the rig, you can actually um, activate the ball meta rig once more. And what we want to do is we want to add another bone to rotate. I just want to add this bone so that I can show you how easy it is to add new features into the rig if you the way you deem fit. So we're going to add a new bone. We're just going to select the ball main, and we're going to duplicate it or whatever you called it. The ball main in my case is this ball that um, is basically the root bone in this setup. You're going to hit Shift D on your keyboard to duplicate it, and let us rotate it. To avoid rotating it the center, around the center of the bone, you can change this from median point to active element, and we now can rotate it using from the head, and just hit R and then constrain it along the x-axis and hit 90. And now that we have that, we can basically go into post mode, and let us leave it assigned to sphere in the bone properties section. Leave the in the rig type section in the options in the widget section. You can leave it assigned to the circle. There's no problem with that. You can scale it up a little bit more, and let us hit generate once more. And now we can there's a problem that we did, there's a mistake that we made. We did not parent this bone that we just duplicated to the bone main, and we're going to do that in an instant. And now that we have that parented, we can do something else. Let us kill this bone, and let us rename it first. Let us rename it to ball rotate, and we want to scale it up a little bit more. And with this bone selected, let us go to post mode. Let us lock the scale and the location axis, like so. And now if we hit regenerate once more, you can see that we now have this bone right here to rotate our sphere. Oh, wait a minute, we need to do something else. There's something else that we haven't done. This is the good thing about rigging. Rigging is it is a process that you basically make mistakes and rectify them again and again until you end up with the right solution. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the top squash bone and the bottom squash bone, and we're going to parent them to the ball rotate bone. Remember, the ball rotate bone is parented to the ball main, so basically the ball main is going to be the root bone in this setup. And let us hit regenerate. And now as you can see, now the ball rotate is rotating the ball as we needed. And I am going to show you one more thing before we conclude. If you can see, there is this collection that was generated by Rigify, which basically carries all the bone widgets. The bone widgets are this. For example, this is a cube, these are circle. Those are the bone widgets. They are basically representatives of, instead of having bones in your setup, you basically have shapes to represent those bones. That is what bone widgets are. And let us hide the ball meta rig, and let us enable the ball widgets by hitting here, and let us activate them. And what we want to do is we're going to check the ball rotate. So that the ball rotate, we're going to edit that. So get out of post mode and go into object mode and select the ball rotate widget, and you're going to see it that way. And so to edit it, you need to go into edit mode, and with the ball widget selected, you can hit slash on your keyboard to isolate it. You can hit slash on your keyboard to isolate the bone, and that is numpad slash to isolate the bone widget. And we're going to duplicate it in edit mode, that is, and we're going to rotate it along, and we're going to locate and rotate it by 90 along the z-axis, like so. And we're going to rotate it once more, we're going to duplicate it once more, and we're going to locate along the y-axis, and let us hit 90. Now we have this beautiful thing going on. And let us go back to object mode, and if we hit numpad slash once more, we can get out of isolation mode. Let us hide the bone widgets once more. Now if we select our rig like so, you can see now the ball rotate bone has this beautiful widget that we just edited in edit mode. It has this beautiful widget going on, and you still have the squish bones to kind of work your way out, and you still have the ball main to move the ball around. And let us do something else. You see, it is very easy to mistake the ball main bone, so we're going to actually activate the ball widget once more, and let us go back to edit mode. Let us select the ball main widget like so, and let us hit slash on our keyboard to isolate it. We're going to kind of make it a little bit more customized. So select these vertices like so, scale them along the x-axis like so, and select these other ones and scale them. Okay, let us change this to median point. Scale them like so. Select this one, scale them along the y-axis like so. Select these ones and scale them out like so. Now we have this interesting shape going on to kind of try and distinguish the ball main from the ball rotate, and we can actually scale it up a little bit to make it bigger. And now if we hit forward slash on our keyboard, let us hide the widgets. We now have this interesting shape going on like so. And there's also the ball root, the root bone that is added by Rigify by default. And yeah, that's it. That is basically it, and that is all, guys. See you next time. So remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button to support me and to give me motivation to create more videos like this. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something. Give me suggestions of maybe videos that you might want me to address, or maybe to create topics to create videos on, and I will be happy to help. I have 6 years knowledge in Blender, and I'm willing to dispense it anytime when called upon. Thank you. And before we actually conclude, there's something else that I just remembered. If you look at this bone root, the root bone here, you can almost miss it because it is not colored like these other bones. And so let us and there is also something else that we did not do. If we go into post mode with the ball meta rig selected, And if you select the ball squish top and the ball squish bottom, you can see that they are assigned to the bottom primary, to the ball primary and the ball secondary. So you want to select the ball primary and remove, so that it is only assigned to the ball secondary, so that the the colors are different. Basically, that is what we want to do. And so let us go here, and so that the root bone can be visible. So we're going to come here in the bone collection UI, which you can see the root here, and assign it to root. There's actually a color set called root here. So that is what you have to basically assign the bone collection to. And now if we hit regenerate once more and let us go into post mode, you can see that we have the bone root now has color, and you can now differentiate between the ball squish top and the ball squish the bottom, and these are the bones in between. And you have this beautiful UI that you can use to basically hide different parts of the rig. And now that that is done, thank you guys for watching. See you next time.